Has there been any progress in finding a cure for Lord Sandor? No, I'm afraid not. Dr. Borges has only been able to treat some of the symptoms. A cure for the actual illness still eludes him. My wife and I recently hired a rather impressive doctor. We could give Lord Sandor his name if you're too kind. However, I don't think Lord Sandor would go for it. He's already tried several elite doctors that you and your family couldn't begin to afford. I doubt your doctor would be able to do anything Dr. Borges hasn't already tried. The noble mutters under his breath, but then adopts a pretend pleasant smile. Of course, you know better than I. I would. I've been looking after him by myself for a while now. Oh yes, all by herself. I've never seen someone so attentive to the need of others. Lady Rosalynn shoots Lord Sharon a glare. It seems she's given up pretending to be cordial with her. The other nobles are well aware that he's not actually giving her a compliment. It'd be a lot easier if a particular someone did something other than laze about and eat all of Lord Sandor's food. I don't eat all of it. You do your fair share, your ladyship. A couple of the other nobles shift uncomfortably. I can't exactly blame them for not wanting to get caught up in a fight. Pardon the intrusion, but I would like to take the name of the doctor, if you don't mind. Lady Rosalynn is probably right, but I'd like to leave the decision to Lord Sandor. Oh yes, of course. I'll write the information down now. Thank you. Vincent breached protocol a bit with that one, but the nobles are more than happy to jump on this chance to steer the conversation back in a civilized direction. A few other nobles jump in with some suggestions as well. By the end of it, Vincent has a full list of people Lord Sandor won't bother to contact. It keeps the peace though, which was the point. It's a terrible shame. Lord Sandor's a good man. He doesn't deserve to go like this. A woman pipes up, sharing the same sentiment. Oh yes, terrible indeed. My family owes Lord Sandor so much. When my husband's business dealings took a turn for the worse, he loaned us an incredibly generous sum of money. With the loan, we were able to make our fortune back, and when we tried to pay Lord Sandor what we owed, he wouldn't accept the money. I was brought to tears. Never had the pleasure of witnessing the kindness that Lord Sandor showed us. If it weren't for his charity, we'd be destitute now. I owe a great deal to Lord Sandor myself. Lord Sandor introduced me to my wife. He suggested we'd make a good match, and lo and behold, she's the light of my life. I don't think a noble would actually talk like that, but I don't care. Lord Sandor is good. Lord Sandor is great. Lord Sandor is some incredible paragon of virtue. The nobles keep exchanging stories that would make anyone who hadn't actually met him think he was some sort of saint. It's a bit irritating, really. It's only natural, I know that when someone is dying, everyone who is halfway decent will forgive all the bad aspects of a person and focus on the good. No, I think Lord Sandor was actually a relatively decent noble. I think that Marcel's a little like... It's like seeing him in darker shaded glasses. If I was a better person, I'd be able to forgive Lord Sandor and move on. But I can't. I'm bitter, even now. Each story of this so-called goodness grates on my patience. Eventually, Lord Sharon gets up and excuses himself. I thought if anyone would chime in on the conversation to vouch for his good side, it'd be him, but he'd been strangely quiet the whole conversation. He leaves the room, letting the others continue their conversation without him. I'm sure Lady Rosalynn is quite pleased with his turn of events. Vincent makes his way to me and hands me the note he took down earlier. Would you deliver this list to Lord Sandor for me? Yes, of course. Vincent lowers his voice so only I can hear the next part. And try not to look as bitter when you return. I blush a bit in embarrassment. I guess this is the real reason Vincent is sending me away. I nod and leave the library quickly. Unfortunately, quickly wasn't the way I should have done it. When I leave the room and turn towards Lord Sandor's room, I bump into Lord Sharon, who is lingering in the hallway. I'm sorry, Calm down, I'm not Lady Rosalynn. I won't demand your head or anything for something as trivial as that. Right. Instead of going on my way, I pause, noticing that Lord Sharon seems a bit off. I don't think Vincent will mind if I take an extra minute to see one of our guests. And Lord Sharon is technically one of our guests, even if he's a bit more welcome than the others. You left rather abruptly. I couldn't take it. I got tired of hearing them talk about Lord Sandor as if they're his best friends. If that was true, where were they when he was healthy? The annoying part about it is they seem to actually believe it. They don't know the first thing about Lord Sandor. And you do? Yeah, I think so anyway. Which is your point, of course. You're suggesting I might be like the people in that room. Well, no. I do think you know more than they do. Probably more than anyone else Lord Sandor knows. Maybe. Mora might have known more. I go quiet. I'm not really supposed to know about Mom. Lord Sheeran did talk about her, but he never actually said her name. It'd be weird if I responded to it. In any case, I don't think she did. She definitely didn't know that Lord Sandor would leave her. Can I ask you a question? What you can ask, I might answer. Fair enough. What do you think of Lord Sandor? That's... I don't know how I want to answer, but I think I should keep that to myself. He's my employer. That's not a real answer. I'm indifferent then. I don't believe that. I bite my lip. I know that Lord Sheeran thinks of Lord Sandor favorably, and that means I should mention something positive, but I don't want to. I debated in my head for a bit before deciding to be honest. I don't like him. I thought that was the case. Can I ask why? A lot of reasons, but mostly because of what you said about him. You blamed Lord Sandor's family for making him break up with a woman he loved, but if he really wanted to be with her, he could have done it. Marcel, I didn't realize. You're actually a romantic. I cross my arms and try not to appear too irritated by this comment. I'm pretty sure it's not working, though. No, I'm not. I just think it's wrong. Well, it is, and you're right. I pointed it at Lady Rosalynn because I was mad at her, but Lord Sandor is just as responsible. It is his one regret. If he regretted it, he would have done something about it. Even after making the mistake, he could have tracked her down and helped her. Even if he couldn't be with her, he could have still helped her. I think that's something easier said than done. It's not so easy to face someone you've betrayed like that. But if it makes any difference, he did try to find her at one point. He waited too long, though. She was long gone by then. That's not good enough. Well, however you feel about him, I still like Lord Sandor. That's not a secret. No, I suppose it isn't. He goes quiet for a bit before bringing up another thought. You know why he doesn't have an heir, don't you? Because he never married? Exactly. And you know why he never married? That question is a bit more difficult. There could be a number of reasons for that. I try to come up with the most logical one for my guesses, because he never found anyone else that he loved other than his mom. Because he couldn't find a good match? Wrong. Lord Sandor has had plenty of offers over the years. Some of them would have been quite the catch, too. There was this one girl, great set of legs and incredible wit. She was beautiful, I get it. Well, no, her looks were decent, but her legs were the only extraordinary part of her appearance. Still, I really liked her. I think she would have been good for Lord Sandor. But I get the message. You don't really care about Lord Sandor's prospects. You want to jump straight to the point. I suppose I can oblige. The reason Lord Sandor didn't take a wife is because he's still in love with Mora. No other woman will do. She was it. He won't disrespect her by marrying anyone else, even if it's just for the sake of fulfilling a social obligation. Yeah, I believe that. I can't say how much he hurt Mora by leaving her. I don't know anything about her beyond what Lord Sandor has told me. Still, I can tell you that Lord Sandor was hurt by his choice, too. He didn't just forget her and move on with his life as if she meant nothing to him. That's, well, something I don't know how to feel about that. I need more time to process it. Yeah, Marcel, yeah, you need to, like, let it go right now. And just realize that maybe Lord Sandor is not as horrifically horrible of a person that you're painting him as. And I get why you are, because you're very bitter. But I think you're gonna have to, like, meet him in between a little bit more halfway than you have been. I put my feelings aside for the time being and focus on giving Lord Sheeran some kind of reply. And you're telling me this why? No reason, really. I just think it's interesting. It doesn't fix anything, but I still think it's a kind of an admirable in its way. Anyway, I should let you get back to work. I've taken up enough of your time for now. Right. Lord Sheeran heads back to his room, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I wish he hadn't told me anything. I still don't plan to forgive Lord Sandor. But that new bit of information complicates things a bit. Yeah, you can't be stubborn about it. At some point, you're gonna have to forgive the guy. You're gonna have to forgive the guy, otherwise you're gonna end up regretting it, I think, for the rest of your life. Get that diligence up. That was a good conversation with Lord Sheeran. Yeah, we're gonna bump up the gardening because we've only got 10 weeks left, and I need to get her. Yes, diligence. Nice. We need to get that reputation up too. Good result. 9, yeah, how is our reputation? 58? Alright, I need to keep it up. And my relationship with Kamal is not improving. Psst, Marcel, over here. I'm about to pass by the kitchen when I hear Licia calling me over. I'm not in the middle of anything particularly important, so I turn to the kitchen to see what she wants. What did you need, Licia? A favor, and frankly, a huge one. At least she's being upfront about it. I'm listening. There's this guy named Lord Eldon visiting today. Oh, it's the son of Rosalynn. I'm supposed to be tending to him right now, but I really don't like him. Do you think that you could cover for me? Say he suddenly got ill or something? Oh my goodness. Licia, every single time you can't handle someone, you try to put it on somebody else. I promise I'll find a way to make this up to you. Oh, you better, girl. I think I've been getting way more of the short of the stick than you have at the moment. I'll take care of it, and don't worry about making it up to me. You sure? He's absolutely vile. Yeah, I'm sure. Thanks a lot for handing him over to me. He can't be worse than Lady Rosalynn, right? You know, he might be. Oh, is that Lady Rosalynn's son? Licia tells me that Lord Eldon is currently in the library, so when I'm ready, I head up there and ask if there's anything I can do for him. No, it's not, because her son is the same age as Marcel. So this is not her son, this is somebody else. Where's the girl from earlier? She wasn't feeling well. She looks fine to me. I'm afraid that isn't the case, however. What about the other girl Lord Sander has, then? He means Renee. If Licia has such a hard time with this guy, then I don't think he's someone I should be throwing Renee at either. She's currently assigned to another task. I'm afraid she won't be available for the remainder of the afternoon. And there are absolutely no other female servants in this household. I'm afraid not. Lord Sander's wasting his money, then. With his fortune, he could afford a whole harem of beautiful girls. Oh my goodness, this guy is just as awful as Rosalynn. The noble grumps angrily. I'm not able to make out most of it, but I can tell that at least some of his rant is dedicated to calling me ugly. That irritates me more than it probably should. I guess I don't really have a choice then. As unappealing as you are, you'll have to do. Excuse me, sir. Marcel is not unappealing. Especially not as compared to you. I take my tea with honey and cinnamon. Honey and cinnamon, huh? Do we have both of those ingredients just laying around the kitchen in the first place? Well, what are you just standing around stupidly for? Go fetch me some at once. And even if I begin to suspect that you're taking more time than necessary, Lord Sander will hear about how lazy you are. Understood, your lordship. I leave the room gladly and head to the kitchen where Licia is. How's it going? He's horrible. I know, right? Just consider yourself lucky you're not female. He's a pig, too. Yeah, I can understand this now. I can understand. This person is so horrible to women. Marcel should be the one to take care of it, not Licia or Renee. I did kind of get that sense. Anyway, I need to make him some tea. Honey and cinnamon, right? I'll take care of it. It's the least I can do since you're covering for me. Thanks, Licia. Yep. Licia digs through the cabinets and finds a jar of honey. She places it on the counter before looking for the second special ingredient. Oh, dear. Let me guess, we don't have cinnamon. Well? She pulls out a jar where it's apparently supposed to be kept. There's trace amounts of it left, but it's definitely not enough. I can run to the market and try to get some. It might take a while, though. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be willing to wait for that. Do we have anything that can work as a replacement for cinnamon? Licia takes a minute to think about it. I think nutmeg? Yes, nutmeg is probably your best bet, but I don't know, Marcel or Eldon might be able to tell the difference. Well, we can slip in whatever is left of the cinnamon, too. He's going to yell at you. He's going to yell at me anyway. Licia sighs. You're probably right about that. All right, I'll do it. Just remember I warned you. Whatever happens is on me. Licia nods and prepares the tea. Once it's ready, she places the pot on a tray and hands it over. I can tell she's still uncomfortable with the idea. I might be too if this guy was actually nice. At the moment, however, I feel like I'm being generous simply due to the fact that I'm not trying to poison him. That's fair. I take the tea out first to him and set the tray down on the end table nearby. I pour him a cup and then wait for him to drink. Lord Eldon takes a sip and frowns. There is something wrong with this tea. It tastes off. Well, he noticed. I guess I didn't really expect to get lucky, though. My apologies, your lordship. Perhaps the ingredients we have on hand aren't exactly the same as the ones you're used to. I didn't ask for your excuses. All I know is that this is not the tea. This tea is not what I asked for. This is unacceptable. If you give me some time, I can make a trip to the market to acquire... You will do nothing until you give me a proper apology. An apology, huh? Fine. I am deeply sorry, and will... You may be saying the words, but you don't sound sorry at all. On your knees, I won't accept your apology till you grovel convincingly. Goodness gracious, these nobles! My calm expression slips, and for half a second my disgust takes on the form of a glare. By the time I think to correct it, it's too late. Instead of continuing to yell, Lord Eldon swings his fist at me. Good lord. My eyes shut automatically in preparation for the hit. But it never comes. Oh, snap! When I open my eyes to find out what happened, I see Kamal standing in front of me. Oh ho ho. For a second, I think that he has taken the blow for me, but then I realize he actually has the noble by the wrist. I'm glad Kamal didn't get hurt. No. This guy's not gonna hurt Kamal. But considering how fussy Lord Eldon has been so far, there's no way he will be okay with Kamal touching him. Let go this instant! That's an order! I look to Kamal, hoping that he'll let go and keep this incident from escalating any further, but when I see his expression, I know that isn't going to happen. Instead of letting go, Kamal tightens his grip threateningly. You don't get to touch him. The man pales. I can't blame him. The absolute anger in Kamal's tone is palpable. To my surprise, Lord Eldon actually manages to gather enough courage to speak. I'll see you fired for this. If you survive this. If you survive it, sir. If you manage to get out of this with the ability to speak ever again, sir. Kamal's frown deepens when his eyes narrow dangerously. Then maybe I should break your wrist to make it more worthwhile. Lord Eldon lets out an undignified whimper. You can't do this! I'm pretty sure I can. I mean, who is going to stop me? You? Maybe your noble title will protect you. You seem to place a lot of faith in it. Nothing can touch you because it makes you too important, right? Well, maybe you should rethink that stance. Your title might protect you from some people, but it means nothing to me. If I actually want to hurt you, I can. Kamal, that's enough. Kamal goes quiet, but doesn't release his grip like I hoped he would. He keeps his gaze fixed on the man's wrist. He's actually thinking about it. He's actually debating whether or not to hurt this man, and I might not be able to stop him. If I'm going to get through to him, I have to make it harder for him to ignore me. This in mind, I move around to Kamal's front, trying to get him to look at me. Please, just stop. You've made your point. Kamal spares me a glance, and then refocuses on Lord Eldon in front of him. I can at least tell Kamal is listening to me now, but he still isn't willing to let go. You're taking this too far. I don't want you to use protecting me as an excuse for something like this. Kamal's shoulders slouch ever so slightly. He's giving in. I just need to push him a little more. Please, Kamal. Kamal takes a deep breath and then lets go. The noble rubs his wrist and steps back quickly, making sure not to turn his back onto Kamal. Lord Sandal will hear of this, I swear it. Yeah, go ahead and tattle, you coward. Kamal shoots him a glare, which sends the noble running out of the room. Kamal turns his attention to me, dropping the dangerous aura instantly. Are you alright? No, I'm not alright. Did you do something to you before I... Kamal reaches out, probably in an attempt to comfort me, but I slap his hand away before it reaches me. Kamal's eyes widen in surprise. He didn't do anything. It's you. I'm not alright because just now you scared me. I... scared you? Who wouldn't be scared? I mean, what was that? You were seriously thinking about hurting him, weren't you? Kamal's expression turns angry. It almost makes me want to back down for a second, but I think that no matter how angry he gets, he won't hurt me. I'm betting on that. He was going to hit you. But he didn't. You stopped him. That doesn't make it okay. No, it doesn't, but it doesn't make what you're going to do okay either. Kamal bites his lip. His angry expression is replaced by a tired one. I'm sorry. Not for what I did to him, but for what I did to you. That's the best I can do. Kamal. My stern expression falters. I can't stay mad at him, especially when I'm so worried about him. You could get fired for this. You probably will get fired for this. He reacts calmly, crossing his arms up and standing up straighter. I don't care. You should care. This is your job we're talking about. Well, I don't. A job is just a job. You're more important. That shuts me up for a second. I shouldn't be yelling at Kamal. It's not his fault after all. It's mine. This is all my fault. And just how is this your fault? You didn't ask for him to hit you. I kind of did, though. Kamal might be mad at me if I tell him the truth. Maybe I should just keep quiet. Staying quiet about it pretty much the same thing as lying, though, isn't it? I weigh my options before deciding to... No, tell Kamal the truth! No. Be honest. You've been honest with him the entire time. Don't stop that streak. I gave him the wrong tea on purpose. I don't think I deserved to get hit over it, but I probably did deserve to get yelled at. I see. It really is my fault. Kamal sighs. Okay, so maybe you are a little at fault. And maybe that means I overreacted. Still provoked or not, I'm not about to let anyone hit you. You hit me all the time, though. Kamal smiles. Touche. I'm special. Besides, it's for your own good. I smile in return. I'm still worried, but getting that off my chest makes me feel a little better anyway. Vincent steps into the room and both of us turn our attention towards him. I bite my lip nervously as Kamal straightens up, bracing himself for what Vincent has to say. Lord Sander, find out what happened? Yes. Lord Eldrin's version of it anyway. It's my fault. Kamal was just protecting me. Before anything is decided, I have to talk to Lord Sandor. You don't have to do anything, Marcel. I chose to act the way... No. You don't have to do anything, Marcel. I chose to act the way I did. Now I need to accept the consequences of those actions. But... Vincent clears his throat. Before either of you decide to do anything, how about you two listen to what I have to tell you? It's not actually bad news, is it? Vincent smiles. No, it's not. Lord Eldon actually admitted to trying to hit Marcel. His complaint didn't count for anything after that. Lord Sander was furious and said that Lord Eldon had no right to lay a hand on his servants. He got mad, huh? I wonder if it was because I was the one that Lord Eldon tried to hit. As a result, no, I think he would be mad at him regardless of who he was trying to hit. It's his servants. As a result, Lord Eldon is banned from this household, and Lord Sander has no intention of punishing either of you. Kamal turns to me and smiles. So you were worried over nothing. Don't say that like you weren't worried yourself. Kamal chuckles. Before we can celebrate further, Vincent clears his throat again and continues in a stern tone. That being said, you can't go around threatening to break people's arms, Kamal. Kamal rubs the back of his neck awkwardly. Yeah, someone already lectured me about that. Vincent gives me an approving nod and then turns his attention back to Kamal. And yet I doubt you've learned your lesson. Kamal shrugs. Don't do it again. No promises. Vincent sighs. Of course not. Well, I'm not going to try to get you fired, so I guess there isn't much I really can do about it. Just try not to anger anyone more important than Lord Sander, okay? Right. I'm going to go ahead and leave now before you disappoint me further. Probably a good idea. Marcel, Kamal may be a lost cause, but you aren't. Please do your best to avoid incidents like this in the future. That said, Vincent turns on his heel and leaves us in the room alone. Well, I honestly don't feel great about this conclusion. We really should have had some kind of punishment. Life is funny like that sometimes. I wouldn't worry about it. Right. Lost cause is right. Why am I the only one who has to feel guilty? Yeah, don't feel guilty about that. That guy was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'm off right now, but instead of going into town like I said I would, I'm pacing around in front of Lord Sandor's door. I thought I'd made up my mind to talk to him, but now that I'm here, I'm having second thoughts. This is much easier in my head. Come on, why are you hesitating now? I grumble a bit as I start to egg myself on. If I turn back now, everything stays the same. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if I make the effort to change things, maybe Lord Sander and I can come to some sort of understanding. And that would be better, right? I stare at the door. I need to get out of the hallway before I'm seen. That thought, more than confidence, spurs me on. I take a deep breath and knock on Lord Sander's door. Come in. He probably thinks I'm Vincent. I don't think this will be a pleasant surprise for Lord Sandor. I open the door and step into the room. Try not to overthink it. You're not who I was expecting. I'm aware of that. Did Vincent send you? No. I sent myself. Rather bold for a servant. I didn't come here as a servant. Then you came here as what exactly? He's going to make me say it. Well, maybe it'll make him shut up for a second or two. As your son. As expected, he goes quiet. I'm not sure what to read in his expression, but I can tell he is surprised, at least by his hesitation. Son, is it? I thought you made it very clear that I wasn't going to think of you as that. I did. Then what has changed? Nothing. Nothing yet, anyway. It's just, Lord Sheeran said something and I wanted to follow up on it. Eloy says a lot of things. Yes, well, this time he said something relating to my mother. Lord Sander takes a minute to think over his response. I think knowing that my mother will be involved in this conversation makes him nervous. You revealed your situation to him? No, I didn't. He had no idea he was talking about my mother when he brought it up. Lord Sandor grumbles a bit. He probably doesn't like the idea of Lord Sheeran bringing up the darker bits of his past in front of servants who aren't supposed to know anything about it. Don't get mad at him, he's the only friend you have. Lord Sandor sighs. Sad but true. I don't have the time to waste being angry anyway. I suppose there's no point in putting it off. Let's hear it. What interesting tidbit did Eloy share with you? He said that you still love my mother, and that you haven't been with anyone else since her. He said that's why you don't have an heir. And if I said it was true, I don't know if I'd believe you. But Lord Chiron was the one who said it, and I don't think you set him up to say it. So I guess what I'm saying is that I do believe it. To an extent. We both go quiet, not sure where to go with this conversation. It is difficult for me. I think it's difficult for him too. No, I know it's difficult for him. I'm not so easily convinced, to be honest. I want to be able to say that I love her, but is that really true? I know I cared for Mora. Other people just aren't as interesting as she was. I could have spent every waking moment just listening to her. Even so, when I had the choice between her and my comfortable lifestyle, well, you know. You know better than most. Do you regret that decision? Even a little bit? Of course I do. But I don't know if I'd make a difference. But I know if I'd make a different one if I was given the choice again. I'm a coward, Marcel. If Mora was here right now, I'd pick her. But the only reason I can say that with confidence is because I'm dying. I wouldn't have to suffer the consequences for long, no matter what happened afterwards. If the situation was different, if I wasn't dying, I don't know. I want to say I'd pick her regardless, but I don't know if I would. And that's what disgusts me the most. If I really loved her, wouldn't that decision be easy? It would be her without question, wouldn't it? I don't know. I can't really pretend to be an expert on the subject. I suppose all relationships are different anyway. If someone calls themselves an expert, they're probably kidding themselves. Maybe. I'd have thought you would have at least a little experience, though. You're not exactly ugly. I imagine you have at least some opportunities. I have had some offers. I just don't really see the point in it. Not all relationships end as badly as the one between your mother and me. I know. I leave it at that. There is a more complicated answer behind it, of course, but I don't really want to get into how I want to give anyone that much power over me. It's not what I came to talk about. Lord Sander seems to notice this since he changed the subject. Well, what's your own business, I suppose? Well, that's your own business, I suppose. I wanted to talk more about Mora, if that's okay with you. I know you didn't want to tell me anything when we first met, but I'm hoping that you've changed your mind about that. I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell him a little. I was mostly keeping it from him out of anger anyway. I pull a chair up to the side of his bed and take a seat. I don't expect this to be a short conversation, so I might as well settle in. What did you want to know? Well, first, how is she now? She's well. She's really healthy and has a decent job helping out a tailor now. It doesn't bring in a lot of money, but it's much more than we used to have. A tailor's assistant, huh? Yeah, she's really happy with the job. She gets to wear nice things every once in a while, too. Good. I'm glad she's been able to find at least a little bit of happiness after what I put her through. So this tailor is a man? You have no right to be jealous. And why does it have to be a man? Mom could be just as happy with a woman, you know? So you're telling me she's with a woman now. Is that a problem? Well, no, if she's happy, that's what's important, I guess. I'm just having trouble wrapping my head around it. Well, you don't have to. She's not actually seeing anyone. You messed with me on purpose. Yes, I did. And for the record, it was amusing. You and Eloy have more in common than you might think. Ouch. Oh, he's not that bad. Sure, he's a bit unorthodox, but that's refreshing after spending so much time around uptight relatives. I'm getting off topic, though. Your mother hasn't been with anyone since me, then? Well, yes and no. Whenever we were in a particularly tight spot, she'd take advantage of some guy. She'd stick around and take his money until he started expecting a commitment. Then we'd disappear without a word. Not exactly a noble act, but we did what we had to. Oh, that is awful. That is terrible. But I guess if you're trying to survive, if you're trying to provide for your children, you know, you'd go at hell and back. Sometimes you might even come back. The point is, Mom never felt the need to stay with any of them. You're the only one she was ever serious about, and she learned her lessons after you. I see. I hope that maybe she felt the same way I do. Why would she? Her life might be alright now, but it wasn't easy getting to that point. And since it's your fault, I don't see her getting over it anytime soon. You're right. Of course you're right. I just got a little carried away, I guess. Forgive me for being unreasonable. I guess I could forgive you for that. Lord Sander lets out a small chuckle. Only that, huh? I'm still a bit bitter about that other thing. I don't see myself ever completely forgiving you for what you did to Mom. But maybe, and this is a big maybe, if you live long enough, I might just be able to put it behind me. Right, I'll just put my death off a bit longer then. You do that. But then you don't get to inherit anything. I shrugged. I'm still not entirely convinced you'll give it to me. It seems a little too good to be true. Oh, and who else would I give it to? You could give it to Lord Chiron. He's got his own fortune that he doesn't really use. He doesn't need mine. Fine, how about Lady Rosalynn then? You can do exactly what she wants and hand it over to her. If you name her son heir quickly enough, she might actually leave you alone for a while. I considered it. She may be horrible, but her son is actually a decent human being. Well, that's good to know. That's surprising. Isn't it just?